We bought this property 20 years ago from Southland Corporation, now 7-Eleven, that has the tower across the street. We named our company Cityplace Company, so that was sort of the name we gave to the whole development. But we've learned over time that since Uptown has grown so much in prominence, and since the West Village is such a widely recognized development, 99% of the people consider this side of the freeway to be either Uptown or West Village, and they consider the other side of the freeway to be Cityplace. So while we're still Cityplace Company, the fact is this is probably known more as Uptown or West Village. The idea in all of Uptown, and in particular in the Cityplace West Village area, is to create a walkable community where people really will get on the street and walk from place to place, not be dependent on their car for everything they do. Part of the reason for doing public art is to place public art in places where people will see it and enjoy it. And Uptown has become really Dallas's only walkable urban community. Back in 1992, we created a tax increment financing district that allows us to basically take the taxes that are generated from all the development within the Cityplace area and put it back into public infrastructure. It's generated to date about $45 to $50 million in tax increment. So that TIF money goes in to build the streets you see around here, the nice improvements that are done in the medians, and then the last part of what we're doing with the TIF is the 3 pieces of public art that we're doing here and the turntable for the McKinney Avenue trolley.
Well, the Public Improvement District was formed in 1992, and it's to improve upon the services that the City of Dallas provides. One of the roles of the Uptown Public Improvement District is to maintain the public areas where the art is being installed today. West Village development was a perfect part of the Uptown District to do this.
Well, we started out with 130 acres and we've got 12 acres left, and there are 4 sites that are between 2 and 3 acres each, and we expect each one of them to be a mixed-use development. It'll be a very dense development. All will have retail on the ground floor, and then above it there'll be multifamily and or office, maybe even a hotel before it's all said and done. And we have 5 sites left, and the first one will probably kick off next year. The TIF is controlled by a board that's appointed by the City Council. And basically a plan was created when the TIF was established about how the public money was going to be spent. And part of that public money was for open space and for sculpture.
We have 3 artists, all of national reputation. Brad Goldberg, who is a Dallas native, is nationally known, internationally known, huge pride of the city of Dallas. Cliff Garton is internationally known, and Margot Sawyer is extremely well known in Texas. She's from Elgin, which is right outside of University of Texas, where she teaches sculpture.
So the opportunity to do this for any artist is always an amazing thing, to sort of take something that you've had in the studio and ideas that you've been having, and then actually scale them up and, you know, put them into the world.
I call this piece Water Table. Once it's fully operational, we'll see a thin film of water covering the surface of the table. It'll make contact with these flutes and adhere to the flutes as the water comes down. And then at night, with uplights, it'll create a little dancing of light and shadow. And it is a very simple piece and adds a little touch of elegance for a Cityplace area.
This is probably the tallest one I've done to date. It's 40 feet high on the pedestal. The scale is right for the site. They're made of stainless steel rods, and the way they're constructed, the pieces are ultimately a transparent volume. That does 2 things for us. It gives us a highly reflective, refractive surface that catches sunlight during the day, but then at night, we have an LED colored light inside and we have lights on the exterior. So you're actually getting a blending of 2 different colors on the piece. From an urban perspective, we have one presence for the piece during the day, and then the piece has an entirely different presence at night.
The nice thing about doing public artwork is it's really for everybody. So museums and galleries, you know, is a sort of a rarefied community, but here it's this sort of gift to the city of Dallas, and everybody can come and enjoy and look and hopefully be inspired by, you know, the phenomena.
We're actually going to develop this plaza with seating and amenities so that it's a comfortable place for people to come.
and there'll be concrete benches around so people can sit and look and sort of repose. As the sun moves around it, the shadows will change. So when you look into these things, there's a lot of color refractions at night. They're not illuminated on the inside, but there'll be lights around it, so those will cast light onto the pieces, and they'll have a different feeling day and night.
What we're looking at now are 2 empty fields, but eventually this will all be infill of, up to like 10, 20 stories. And this plaza, could become a very active place if the pedestrian realm here takes off the way that the city and the developers would like to see it happen. And what the piece does is, on this very busy corner, as you can see, it really anchors the site. And so we're really looking at a piece which belongs to the site and comes out of the context of the site.
We asked several citizens in the uptown area to come and be a part of a committee that would review these projects. And that committee reviewed the artists and ultimately made a decision on these 3 artists. I can't say enough about the committee's contribution because there are 3 artists that fit this project perfectly.
I think one of the most difficult things in a city like Dallas, and it's one thing that this whole area has been successful with, is encouraging a pedestrian scale, encouraging activity on the street. Now, you wonder what all that has to do with art. It actually has a lot to do with what I do, because I'm interested in making work that is at the true scale of the city.
We live in a culture that things sometimes only last for 25 years. I'm looking at trying to make something that in 100 years this thing will still look fresh.
We wanted something that would be really recognizable when people drove into this development, something that would catch their eye and that they would think of as they drove into this last part of the uptown development that we're doing. McKinney Avenue trolley plays an important role. DART plays an important role. And that sort of leads us to the turntable and the redo of the DART station. DART is such an important element, and over time will become a much more important element in the way this whole walkable community works.
This project has accomplished an immense amount for uptown, for the city of Dallas, and the developers should be extremely proud.
Creating a walkable urban community requires a number of things to take place over a period of time. It requires density. It requires having buildings moved up to the street so you have something interesting to walk by. You need nice sidewalks, you need well-lit sidewalks, and you need a tree canopy. All that's been building over the last 25 years, really. And that's what you have to do to create a walkable community. Public art's a really important part of that.